Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so first thing on our slide is material pickups. Just like we did the week before school started last time, we're gonna have another pickup day for more of those resources. It's gonna be Monday, August 31st. We are going to have that time from 1 to 4. And then if you are picking up a meal kit, you can also pick that up along with the materials from 4 to 6.
All right, so esta semana vamos a estar preparando materiales para llevar a casa como lo hicimos al principio de este año lectivo. Los materiales se van a entregar el lunes 31, va a ser la segunda vez que entregamos materiales. Los materiales van a ser para que los estudiantes lo puedan usar en el salón al mismo tiempo con nosotros o para que les puedan dar de soporte en las actividades que dejamos. Va a ser el lunes 31 de 1 a 4. So de 1 a 4 vienen hacia adelante y ahí pueden pasar. Si vienen también a recoger las comidas para la semana, entonces pueden recogerlo al mismo tiempo entre 4 y 6.
So again, if you only need to pick up materials with no meal kit, the time is 1 to 4. And if you need to also pick up a meal kit, you can come from 4 to 6 and get both of those. The pickup line will start in the front of the school. Please pull into the front parking lot and follow the directional signs.
So, una vez más, si solamente necesitan recoger los materiales, no las comidas, solo los materiales, de 1 a 4. Y cuando entren a la escuela, tienen que parquear como hacen cuando van a dejar los niños en la escuela con carros al puro frente de la escuela. Y van a haber maestros y carteles para indicarlos a dónde ir.
As far as communication goes, we will be communicating through CTLS Parent and regular email. I know Mr. Rand and I have noticed, and we have spoken to the school about this, a lot of your email addresses are not correct on CTLS Parent. That's why we've been relying heavily on emails, because we know we have everybody's correct emails because we've spoken to you all. So we will be posting on both of those just so we make sure we are using both of those lines of communication. But since some of your emails are wrong on CTLS, you're going to get more emails than CTLS. But please check these regularly. And if the system is down, you will receive an email with a different Zoom link. If Zoom is completely down and we are unable to go live at all, then we will post assignments on Seesaw. And then like I did this past week, I will record my lessons if I don't have another option to, and I will send those out.
Okay. So, la forma en que nos vamos a estar comunicando va a ser a través del CTLS Pairings y del correo electrónico. Miss Anderson y yo notamos de que en el CTLS Pairings algunas de sus direcciones electrónicas no están correctas y ya lo notificamos a la oficina. Por ese motivo es que Miss Anderson y yo hemos estado enviando toda la comunicación a través de los correos electrónicos, pero vamos a estar enviando en ambos. Así es que algunos de ustedes van a tener dos correos de la misma información. Por favor, chequeenlo. Nosotros vamos a estar enviando comunicaciones allí. Si por algún motivo el sistema CTLS Learn no está funcionando, entonces nosotros vamos a enviar un link para la reunión en el Zoom. Y si por algún motivo Zoom no está funcionando tampoco, entonces nosotros vamos a mandarles actividades que ellos puedan realizar en el CISO y también vamos a poder grabar lecciones como lo hizo Miss Anderson esta semana.
And for grades and assignments are being posted in Seesaw, so please make sure that your child is completing them. Periodically, we will post an assignment for a grade. Please make sure that they are completing these independently and that they have so that we have a true picture of their ability. We will always specify which assignment on Seesaw is for a grade. Some of them are just practice, so they can practice those skills that we've learned in class, and some of them will be for a grade, but we will let you know which ones are for a grade.
Las asignaciones que nosotros les vamos a entregar a sus hijos para poder tener una nota para su tarjeta de calificaciones, se van a estar publicando a través del CISO. Todas las actividades están en CISO, así es que asegúrese de que si no tiene la aplicación, pues que la baje, solo mándenos un correo electrónico pidiendo por el código para registrarse, pero asegúrese que lo practique y lo revise diariamente. Periódicamente vamos a estar enviando tareas para poder calificar. Esas tareas nosotros les vamos a dejar saber a ustedes si tienen un grado o una nota específica. Generalmente las actividades que estamos poniendo son para que nuestros estudiantes puedan practicar lo que están aprendiendo con nosotros, pero va a haber algunas asignaciones que tienen una calificación. Pero Miss Anderson y yo les vamos a dejar saber cuál es. Y cuando eso suceda, por favor, les pedimos que deje que sus hijos lo hagan independientemente para poder nosotros darnos cuenta si realmente están aprendiendo.
Our small group instruction will be starting next week for reading and math. We will always send a schedule out the Sunday evening so that way you know where your child needs to be for that week. We are both using animal characters for our groups. So your child will know what animal character they are in. So when they log in to CTLS Learn, they will click on that animal group when they're joining our small group for reading and math. But we will tell you those times that we will be meeting with them. And that way you have that schedule every single Sunday.
So, los grupos pequeños para lectura y matemáticas van a empezar la siguiente semana. Vamos a enviar el domingo, vamos a enviar un horario todos los domingos indicando cuál es el día en que sus hijos necesitan reunirse con nosotros en un grupo pequeño y en cuál animal. So, nosotros les hemos designado a cada grupo un animal y ellos van a poder ver el dibujo de animales en CTLS y ellos solamente tienen que unirse a ese grupo. Pero la mayor parte de nuestra instrucción se hace a través de los grupos pequeños, así es que les pedimos, por favor, asegúrense de que sus hijos se unan a los grupos pequeños cuando nosotros se los indiquemos. Miss Anna, can I say something about small groups?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just in English. During small groups is when we are doing most of our teaching because it's easier for us to just meet the needs of our students. So we please asking you, make sure that your students log in when it's time for them to meet with us in small groups, because that time is super important for us for this year. Always, but especially this year.
Before we get to the question slide, I just wanted to share also that the resources that we are sending home, it's not extra work for the kids. It's actually work that we are going to be, or not really work, it's resources that we are going to be using when we're teaching our whole group lessons and our small group lessons. So I know you got letter tiles for phonics and some books in your bag. Those books are going to be used for my guided reading lessons. You will not get new books this time because we haven't used those yet. So just make sure that you're keeping up with that bag of materials and have your students or your children bring them with them to learning every day. Because I know Mr. Rand likes to use like the number lines and the 10 frames and stuff where the students can manipulate and move around, and same for the letter tiles and phonics. So it's really important to try to keep up with those materials and resources.
So, antes de pasar a la parte de preguntas, algunos de los recursos que nosotros estamos enviando a casa no son trabajos extras, son recursos que vamos a estar utilizando durante nuestras instrucciones. Son materiales que ellos van a estar usando constantemente. En el caso de Miss Anderson, ella envió las letritas en cartón y también ha enviado diferentes libros de diferentes niveles que sus hijos tienen que tener con ellos cuando ellos están trabajando con ella. Igualmente nosotros enviamos unas fichitas de color rojo y amarillo y algunas líneas numéricas, marcos de 10. Si pueden, lo pueden laminar o lo pueden poner en una bolsita para protegerlos, pero sí les pedimos que cuando es hora de ir a la escuela, sus hijos estén listos con esos materiales porque los vamos a estar usando y también listos con lápices o un cuaderno.
All right, and are there any questions that you have, any success stories, anything that isn't working, anything, suggestions, questions that you guys may have?
¿Tienen alguna pregunta, alguna duda, alguna sugerencia? Just unmute yourself and let us know. Abran su micrófono y nos hacen saber.
This is Miss Gibson, Destiny's mom. Her dad and I both teach middle school, so we start teaching at noon to 4. Do we have the option to pick her items up that evening on the 31st? We don't pick up meals though.
I'm sure that will, I'm sure it'll be fine. We could tell them that you guys are educators and we can probably have them pull them to the side. And if not, then I can come up here one afternoon and I can give those to you guys so you can have them.
Okay, thank you.
Maestra, tengo una pregunta. Miss Anderson ayer envió un link porque según hoy tenían un test. No sé si no se hizo, pero yo nunca pude entrar. Soy la mamá de Valentín.
De Valentín. No, lo que pasa fue que al principio se habían mandado los links para hacer los exámenes en grupo.
Ajá.
Pero lamentablemente no se pudo, no se puede, el sistema no, porque son de primer grado, tenemos que hacerlo individualmente. Entonces, ella los va a estar llamando individualmente para que se puedan unir al examen.
Ok.
Gracias.
Ok, gracias.
Anybody else, any questions?
I just want to say I really, really appreciate you guys because I've had other parents have difficulty getting in from other grades, but you guys have been very, very communicative with like sending us the individual Zoom links. So, because it's been very difficult, definitely working at home and trying to get the kids in, and it's been hard, but you guys have made it really smooth and easy to try to get them connected.
Thank you.
And I know that it's frustrated because it's out of our reach, but if you guys can just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying, because we will not send links until our administrator says send out the link. So some parents can do it, some parents cannot. Sometimes it's just the whole system. So if you guys can be persistent and just keep trying, will be awesome.
Especially logging in the morning. They really want us to get away from sending links. So if it is an issue with an iPad or a laptop or something that needs to be dealt with the help desk, it would be best if you guys sent it through that request through the help desk. That way they can make sure that they're fixing that problem, because our administration really does not want us to send links out every day. We've just been doing it because we want everybody to get on, but they don't want people to always rely on that.
Anybody else?
Yo tengo una pregunta, Miss Durán. Soy la mamá de Samantha Muñoz.
Sí, señora.
Con respecto a lo del famoso examen de hoy, yo estaba checando en CTLS y yo vi que en la página, ahí con Samantha sí estaba ese examen, ¿verdad? Que sí está. Pero ella trató, pero en realidad ella no pudo. Eso lo dejamos así y se va a hacer.
Okay. Yo sé que usted tiene un hijo en tercer grado y por eso usted pensó que ella lo podía hacer. Los de segundo grado y hacia arriba, ellos lo pueden hacer individualmente y tienen acceso para poder abrir cuando ellos quieren. Pero primer grado tienen que hacerlo con nosotros cara a cara. Entonces, Miss Anderson y yo lo que hemos estado haciendo es enviándoles un correo electrónico el día antes con la hora en que yo necesito reunirme con su hija el día siguiente.
Ok.
Aunque el examen esté allí, ella no lo puede tomar porque tiene que hacerlo conmigo.
Bueno, entonces eso es hasta nuevo aviso, ese examen entonces.
Sí, señora. A Miss Anderson y yo hemos estado trabajando, tenemos la otra semana, entonces, como le digo, diariamente vamos a enviar el correo electrónico a quienes necesitan tomar ese examen.
Bueno, yo espero entonces. Muchas gracias.
She was just asking me about the assessments that we are doing, the SKI. Some of you can see the assessment in the CTLS Learn, but they cannot take it. And the only reason that your students cannot take the assessment by themselves is because first grade has to do it with us. It has to be a teacher pace. I know that second grade and up, they can do it at any time that they need to do it, but first grade has to do it with us. So if you guys notice that, and I know we receive a different email saying I can see the test, but I cannot take it. And that is the reason the students have to do it with us one-on-one.
We've been sending out emails to try to schedule those students to take those tests. So just be on the lookout for an email. If you need to reschedule that time, just let us know. We'll try to work something out, but we have to have them done by September 11th. So we're trying to get as many as we've done as fast as we can, with the time that we have. So we just thank you for your patience and showing up when we have to give this test. So thank you for that.
Yo tengo una pregunta.
Sí, señora.
Mi niña tiene una cita con el dentista el lunes. Yo la quise poner en la tarde o un miércoles, pero me dijeron que tiene que ser a las 8 de la mañana el lunes. Cuando es así, ¿cómo puede poner uno o cómo puede ser? Porque ya no viene esa sesión en la mañana. ¿Puede hacer tal vez después de la primera clase o no sé si pierde
Lo que puede hacer es cuando la lleva al dentista y si tienen que ir al doctor, entonces pida la misma justificación del doctor y viene y la deja a la oficina. Ellos están abiertos, nada más que tiene que usar mascarilla.
Okay.
Sí, señora. She was asking me about the excuses if one of your students need to go to the doctor or the dentist. And as I said to her, it's just like last year, if you go to the doctor, just ask the doctor for an excuse and bring it to the front office. They're open, but you just need to bring a mask and you have to come by yourself, but you can drop it over there.
I just want to thank you guys for sticking with everything and working with everybody through this. None of us have been here before, really, so it's all new. But I did want to say, like, there is a link. If you were to Google CTLS login, the link that says just CTLS login, that link is broken and it will never let you log in. It will continually refresh. So I've ran into that for like the first 2 or 3 days. I didn't know if that might help some people out.
Oh, thank you so much. Ella solamente estaba comentando de que si ustedes se meten en Google y ponen CTLS, nada más tratan de ver cómo lo pueden hacer, no les va a funcionar, ese link no les va a funcionar, entonces para que puedan utilicen los links que nosotros les hemos enviado.
Sí.
I have a question here in the chat. It says, will there be afternoon sessions on a regular basis soon, or will it be as needed? Well, the idea is to do it in a regular basis, but at this point, every day changes. So at least right now we're doing the ski, so we're using those afternoon sessions to be able to complete these assessments, but the idea is to have regular basis sessions with the kids in the afternoon. Ms. Anderson, would you like to?
Our goal is to try to meet with each group of students twice during the week. So like for my guided reading, I try to meet with one during the synchronous learning time. I try to pull, because we're really working on doing the mini lesson, having them do that work time so I can pull those groups, and then coming back together for a closing. And then I will also pull another group in the afternoon. But your child should meet with each of us twice throughout the week. Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Ask a follow-up. Oh, go ahead.
Ella estaba preguntando que si las reuniones de los grupos pequeños va a ser regularmente, y la idea es de que Miss Anderson y yo podamos reunirnos con sus hijos regularmente. Sus hijos van a reunirse con nosotros mínimo 2 veces a la semana. Si no hay ninguna dificultad, si nada cambia en el sistema, pues esa es la idea. Y nosotros vamos a estar poniendo el horario de esa semana en la página del CTLS, debajo de los anuncios. And something else that we are going to be posting the schedule for the small groups under the announcements in the classroom, in the digital classroom, so you guys can refer to that as well. And it's gonna be there, so your students are gonna know which animal they need to go, and they will have the time and the day for them to join in. Go ahead, somebody was asking something.
It was me. I have a question always.
Yes, Elaine.
So with those, the small groups, so yesterday in Miss Anderson's session, I know that like we got into a place where we kind of got like the Zoom screen of like your host will let you back in. Is there going to be like a known time on that? Because my kid was gone. I mean, as soon as he got logged out, he was gone. And it's only because my computer is next to his that I realized like when you guys log back in. And so I think with first grade, it's not realistic to think they're going to sit here and do work when they get that little, whatever that blip is going to be. So, and I also admittedly didn't hear if you had given them an assignment. So I guess it's twofold of like, number one, knowing the length of time, like so that we can say you have 15 minutes, set a timer and go, or exactly what their assignment will be in that block. But it's hard if I'm not listening, he's not going to tell me what happened. He's just going to be gone. So is there a way to kind of help coordinate that, or at least tell us like an exact block so I can
That's what we were trying to figure out today, because essentially admin wants us to start a session to teach a 10 to 15 minute lesson, end the call, so end the live, pull a small group where, so if you're not in our small group, then they would be doing their work on Seesaw, or they would go to Clever, they would do work on Clever through HeadSprout, they could read or do whatever they need to for math. And then that would be like a 40-minute time block. And then they want us to come back together for a 5 to 10 minute closing. So that's a lot of them clicking in, clicking out. So we thought maybe we could try to use the breakout rooms and put everybody else in a waiting room, because we can't leave the children unattended. And technically, if we're in a breakout room and they're doing something else where everybody can still see them, they're being unattended. So they don't want that. So that's why we were trying to play around with it yesterday with those breakout rooms. So if they are not in a room with us and it says your host will let them in, I mainly wanted to try that because at least I still had them there, at least their name there. And so when they came back in, hopefully they would hear me and say like, hey guys, come back. And
yeah, that's exactly what we did.
Right. And so that was our hope, because if we end the call totally, then we may get some kids back, we may not get people back. And that's the issue that we're running into is there's no really easy way for us or you to do this for that end. But I mean, we are open to how, like, if you guys have suggestions, like what is working or not working.
I think one of the things that I'm thinking, Ms. Anderson and I, we can send again the schedule for you guys where it says what time are we doing groups. So if that's the case with Joseph, maybe if you have a timer and you can put it next to him and say, during these 15 minutes, you cannot move from here. You're going to do the computer. Sit down and do it onto these rings. Then by that time, Ms. Anderson or me will be able to pull them out of the waiting room, and they were able to hear us.
Yeah, no problem. Or if it's in the announcements or something of like what the assignment is during the groups, or however you want to coordinate it for us, just coach us through whatever you want us to do and we will do it. But
I definitely can talk about math. If they are not with me in the mornings and they are in the waiting room, I want them to go to my classroom homeroom, or what is called the digital classroom. And there is an emoji classroom where they're gonna see Dreambox and Freckles and some computers. And it's already there if you guys want to look at it and explore it before. So once they are in the waiting room, then they can minimize Zoom and go back to the classroom and see my Bitmoji classroom and just click on Dreambox first. That is the #1 program that we're gonna be using. And if they are done, then they can explore the classroom. The computers have games, Freckle has more games. And that is why we are stressing the importance of using Clever, and make sure that your son or your students know how to log into Clever, because that will help them to be ready for those 15, because we're talking about 15 and 20 minutes. So that's something. Let me just translate all this for a minute. Estábamos hablando acerca un poquito de los grupos pequeños, cómo se van a ver. Durante la mañana ellos van a estar con nosotros en una clase con todos enteros, pero a partir del lunes nos vamos a estar dividiendo en grupos. La escuela quiere que nosotros enseñemos por 15 minutos, después cortemos la sesión, 20 minutos después nos volvamos a unir. Pero nosotras entendemos de que eso es mucho para ustedes y mucho para nuestros estudiantes. Entonces, lo que vamos a estar haciendo es que cuando estamos en el Zoom, nos vamos a dividir en grupos. Algunos estudiantes se van a quedar conmigo, otros estudiantes se van a quedar con mis Cox y el resto de los niños se van a poner en un cuarto de espera, que es una aplicación del programa. Cuando ellos están en el cuarto de espera, ellos no se pueden hablar uno al otro. Entonces, lo que van a hacer en ese momento, ellos van a minimizar la pantalla de Zoom, van a ir de regreso a la clase digital y allí van a encontrar una clase de Bitmoji, ya sea mía o ya sea la clase de Bitmoji de Miss Anderson. Y en esa clase de Bitmoji, ellos pueden ingresar directamente a Clever para jugar con el programa del Dreambox, que es un programa de matemáticas que les ayuda en matemáticas, o también el Headsprout, que es para lectura. Cuando ellos terminen de hacer eso, entonces Miss Anderson o yo, entonces vamos a poder regresar a los estudiantes nuevamente a la pantalla grande con todo el grupo y ellos nos van a poder escuchar.
We're also taking the time this week, like it's built into our lessons, like we're showing them how to get to Clever, and so we're taking one day and kind of showing them something they are able to do during that time. So like I know I showed them Clever and I've showed them how Epic for reading. Tomorrow I was going to show them how to find that Bitmoji classroom and all the different things that they could do on it. So we want them to take that time to explore. So we're trying to take it one day at a time. We don't want to say you have to do this, 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 and this every single day. Like, because if they were in the classroom, they would be in rotations. They would be doing all of this same stuff anyways. It's just, they kind of have the freedom to pick what they want to do that day since they're at home. But so we will be showing them how to get to these places. And that's what we really are taking this time to do this week before we move into those small groups. And they can always go on Seesaw because they will always have independent work to do. So that's always an option, that if they don't want to go on Clever or they don't want to go on Epic, that they can go on Seesaw and start doing their work.
So, otra de las opciones que Miss Anderson estaba mencionando es que durante nuestro tiempo de grupos pequeños, ellos pueden, esta semana nosotros les hemos estado enseñando a ellos cómo utilizar Clever, cómo se mira Headsprout, Epic, cómo se mira Dreambox. Y esas son opciones que ellos pueden realizar ahora que estamos digitalmente. Usualmente cuando estamos en el salón, ellos hacen rotaciones y van a diferentes juegos o actividades. Pero ahora, entonces, cuando estamos en grupos pequeños y si ellos no están con nosotros, ellos pueden escoger la actividad o inclusive pueden ir a revisar Seesaw y trabajar en alguno de las tareas que ya les hemos dado para ese día o que no han hecho de los días anteriores. All right. Anybody else have more questions?
Una pregunta, es la mamá de Diana.
Sí, señora.
Algunas veces no envían los links como de las clases, como esta vez no pude conectarme con el de música. No sé si sea que pierdan clases o así.
Well, con lo que yo les estaba diciendo al principio es, yo sé que a veces si el sistema está caído, ellos nos van a mandar a nosotros el link y nosotros les enviamos el link a ustedes. Pero si el sistema está funcionando, entonces ustedes tienen que seguir intentando y si ustedes están usando una tableta, van a poder encontrar debajo de los anuncios, allí está el link para ellos y no puede ir directamente a la sesión digital. So, lo que ha estado trabajando bien para muchos es en debajo de los anuncios, usted abre anuncios y ahí va a estar el link para que pueda unirse con ellos. Pero nosotros no tenemos acceso a ninguna de las sesiones de especiales. Entonces, si ellos no lo mandan, nosotros no lo podemos enviar. Está fuera del alcance de nosotros.
Okay.
She was asking me about the specials and that sometimes you guys cannot log in into those classes because we don't send the links. Unfortunately, if the system is not down, we cannot, they're not gonna send the links to us. So what you have to do is in your computer or in your tablet on their announcements, they should be a little announcement that says first grade music class is live. Then there is the link for you to click that. But Ms. Anderson and I, we don't have any access to any of those. So unless the system is down and until they send it to us, then we can send it to you guys. So if that's the case, keep trying. Sorry.
So going back to the discussion about the class sessions, I want to make sure I understand because my daughter is not next to me doing hers. She's actually at a learning center with a parapro. So during the class, you said they would do the lesson, then there would be a section where they will work independently, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is it closing out their Zoom or are you dumping them into a waiting room? Because I think they think they're getting knocked out. So they're trying to go back in. So I'm trying to get an understanding so I can kind of tell them what is happening when you're putting them to go work independently.
So during that time, like during the synchronous learning time, I just put them into the waiting room because I didn't want to end the call and then not be able to get anybody back. So I just
Okay,
put
so
them in
they'll
the
know
waiting
they're
room.
still connected.
Yes.
They will still be
Okay.
connected.
Yeah, and we will
They'll
tell the kids.
Okay.
We will say, okay, it's time to do groups. You guys are gonna go to the waiting room and go explore Clever or do Dreambox, and then listen up for us when we
Okay.
call you back. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
One thing that might help the students is having ready access to like Epic and Clever and all of that. And what you can do, especially on Chrome and Firefox, is you can actually pin the websites to the tabs. So that way they can actually see the symbol in the top left corner. And typically, I mean, you will get knocked out, so you'll have to put the password in every so often, especially if your computer has to do some updates or something. But I don't know, that might help get them a little bit faster access.
Yes.
I think you can pin them to the Google homepage too. So if they can get to like the major homepage where it has like the search bar, you can pin them directly under that. Is that also what you meant? Or is that a separate way of pinning them?
Yeah, you can actually pin to the top of your browser where you open up different tabs. You can pin them to that tab, so that way when you open up, because I don't use Chrome, I actually use Firefox. So, but they have a similar front page thing, and yeah, you can pin them there as well.
And that's what I did with Destiny's. All of her stuff that you send me, I've put it on her top bar. So all she has to do is click on it. She doesn't even have to sign in.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's so helpful.
Los padres de familia estaban compartiendo ideas o tips que les ha ayudado a ellos, y una de ellas es que ellos cuando están en la computadora, ellos guardan la dirección de Clever y de Get Epic y de Headsprout, y todos esos los guardan directamente en la barra de donde ponen las direcciones, y eso les ha ayudado a ellos de que ellos tienen acceso más rápido a los programas para que ellos no puedan perder tanto tiempo, especialmente si sus hijos están trabajando independientemente sin el apoyo de ustedes. All right, well, if we don't have more questions, then
Or if you think of them later, you can just email us and we'll answer those.
yes.
But we are going to save this video and we will send it out. That way, if you need to go back and listen to it or miss something, everybody's going to have this video as well.
Thank you guys again for being awesome and patient and just walking us through all of it. We know it's really hard, but thank you for being just fabulous. You are very, very much appreciated.
Oh, thank you. In this, we're all together.
Yes.
And the struggle is real. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Muchas gracias a todos. Vamos, el video y la llamada se grabó, entonces nosotros los vamos a enviar por correo electrónico para que ustedes puedan revisarlo y si tienen alguna duda, alguna pregunta, nada más nos mandan un correo electrónico y nosotros con gusto les podemos ayudar.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Buenas tardes.
Hasta luego. Que descansen.
Bye-bye.
Adiós.